Okay, welcome to my Sunday class number 3, which is also class number 1. That's how we do math here. Yeah, those are both true, by the way. Yeah. And my name is Ben Finegold, and yours isn't. We have 3 new people in the class, and they don't even realize we're recording or that my wife forgot to push the record button, so it doesn't matter what I say now. This is for players under 1,400 and or unrated, and if you're over 1,400, that's good too, because the more you pay, the more you learn. And some people go to both classes because they want to give me more money, right?
No.
Right. Now you said you were rated 1,100, and you're not rated. What's your rating on chess.com-ish?
1350.
Plus tax? Okay. And then you're rated 700-ish? Ishness? Okay. So I have a long, funny story to tell. Normally these videos take about 3 months to go on the internet because my wife is like editing them and putting in music and cutting out my nonsense. And my videos go on immediately because I don't do any of that. Here's my video. So my videos on my channel are suspicious. This, you can actually hear me and see me and stuff. Now, I made a video yesterday on this game. This is the most amazing game ever. So you're the luckiest 3 people who ever lived. I mean, not just in chess, I mean in everything. And they're even luckier because they have to wait to see this. Okay, so yesterday, as you all know, there was a chess tournament here. How many players played? Yeah, I showed you that sheet of paper.
27.
There you go, 27 players. Now, as you may know, 27 is an odd number.
Yeah.
Therefore, 27 people can't play each other because there's going to be enough. So the first 3 rounds, my wife played the person who didn't play anybody. The 4th round, somebody took a bye or withdrew or something, so there was an even number. In the 5th round, my wife was home with the dog, which you just saw. So I asked people here, do you want to play a rated game? No. I said, do you want to play me? And the guy's like, yeah. So I played a rated game, which I do sometimes. And problem with playing a rated game when I'm playing a player who's very low rated is I get 0 points if I win, rating points. And if I lose, then I'm lower rated than you. Okay? And when I'm playing somebody rated 1,000, I expect to win at least 100% of the time. It's another math thing. It's like, this is my 3rd class and my 1st class, and I want to win more than 100% of the time. So, now, you might think I'm making that up, but you've heard a lot of people say they give 110%. Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so yesterday, I played a 1,000 rated player, and I said, what color do you want? And he said black, and I said, okay. And here's the game. Very suspicious. Now, normally I play d4 on move 1, but I like to play everything, and I figure, okay, guys rated 1,000, I'll play e4. Turns out, this young man, Varun, who's about, 10 years old, I'm close. He's in one of the classes I teach at a school. So he's been in my class for about 4 months. And I've seen him here at the tournament. He's come to this class too, but he's not here, unfortunately. I could say, what, you didn't beat me. Okay, now he played an opening you've never heard of. That means they've heard of it. Called the French defense.
Okay.
What move did he play?
E6.
E6, you have heard of it. Okay, now, why does black play E6? What's black's next move?
D5.
So why didn't he play D5 on the first move?
Because it's in support there.
Yeah, he would have to take with his queen or get his knight out, and he wants to take back with a pawn. And what move also prepares d5, but is not e6? Very similar to e6. What's that?
C5.
Who? No, prepares the move d5, protects d5.
Oh.
C6, what's that called? Carol-Khan. Now the difference is, in the French defense, black can play c5 pretty early. In the Carol-Khan, black can get his bishop out because the e6 pawn isn't blocking it. Which is more important? Nobody knows. Okay, so grandmasters play both. Like I play both, mainly Carol-Khan. So in the French defense, when I was a kid and I was between the ages of 7 and 14, I only played the French defense. If my opponent played e4, I played e6. Now I play like once a year. Okay, and when I'm white, I hardly ever play e4, so also once a year. So now I'm old and confused. What? Where am I? Okay, so d4, d5. Now, what are the 3 most common moves if you're a grandmaster? Raise your hand. You raised your hand. What are the 3 most common moves for white? Here. Yeah, here. Yeah.
E5.
Correct. That's common at the lower level, but not at the grandmaster level.
Alright.
I play it. I play that a lot, by the way.
Knight F3.
Not knight F3 because you lose your pawn and cry.
Knight,
Yeah.
Knight C.
Knight C3, and what's the third move? Anybody want to help him? E5, Knight C3. What's the other move? Knight D2. You were going to say that, but I didn't call on you. Knight D2. Now.
Wait, I think I remember that. It was called a tit rush.
That's right. Yeah. And it was such a bad move they threw it in the trash can.
Okay.
Only 1 out of 3 left. Okay. Now, you may say, I have a question. Thanks. If white can play knight c3 and protect his pawn, why would you play knight d2 blocking your bishop? Why would you do that? Why is knight d2 different than knight c3? What does knight d2 prevent that knight c3 does not? And I will give you an analogous position to confuse you. In fact, I'll do it right now. Okay, in the Grunfeld, an opening you've never heard of, as they complain. Wow, nobody complained. You heard of the Grunfeld? Wow, I guess not. Yeah, okay.
I never played this.
So this is the Grunfeld. In the Grunfeld, one of the main lines is this. If I click reference, there'll be like 8,000 Grandmaster games, maybe more. Here, white has to make a decision. The decision is, do I go here or do I go here? If you go there, you play bishop c4, and then you go there, so your bishop's not blocked, right? If you play knight f3, you play knight f3 now. Now, you might say, wait a minute, how come some people want to go here and some want to go here? Thanks for asking. And that has to do with the bishop pinning the knight. If I play knight f3, at some point you can pin my knight, and you probably will. If I play bishop c4 and then knight e2, I don't care if you pin my knight, because I'll play this and I'm not pinned anymore. And that explains the French defense. All openings are the same if you recognize the similarities. In the French defense, the reason some people play this move is now bishop here is useless because I go there. So I stop you from pinning me. After knight c3, one of the most common moves is this. Now that's a tough question for this class. This is more for the next class. What's the name of this variation? It's named after a player you never heard of. That's why it's hard. His name is Simon Winowar. So it's called the Winowar variation. Okay, and he was alive in the 1800s, so you forgot about him. Okay, notice the bishop is pinning the knight. Now, knight f6 is also common. When I was a kid and I played the French every game, I always played bishop b4. So I have like 100 games with this from 35 years ago. Okay, now I'm white and I played the first move you suggested because I knew you were coming to class. What was the move you suggested first?
E5.
Yeah, that's what I usually play e5. And that's called the advanced variation. In fact, in the Caro-Kann, this is also very common. The Caro-Kann and then the advanced variation. Now here's the big difference. In the Caro-Kann, my bishop can move. In the French defense, it can't. However, if I want to attack the center, well, I've already played c6, then I play c5, I lose a tempo. It's like I don't know how the pawn moves, which I don't. But here in the French defense, when you play the advanced variation, now they play c5 in one move. Okay, and c3, knight c6, knight f3, queen b6. I've seen this position with white and black a million times.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, I've seen it a4, b4, and c4. Oh, b4, never mind. Okay, now here, there's 3 moves grandmasters play. Bishop e2, bishop d3, and a3. I always play bishop d3. And the reason I always play bishop d3 is about 6 years ago, I was coaching someone for the World Youth. And that we looked at this for hours because they played it with white. So I'm like, all right, I looked at it for hours. I guess I'll play it. Okay. And that person was Alyssa Melakina. Have you heard of her? You're my only hope. No? Okay. And she's not really playing chess much anymore. She plays 1 tournament a year because she's a lawyer in New York. So she went to law school and graduated in like 5 seconds.
Double job.
Yeah. So she makes $1 billion a day being a lawyer, and she makes 5 cents being a chess player. So she doesn't play chess very much. However, a week ago in Las Vegas, she played in a tournament, she took vacation, and she won $1,500, which is weird because she plays chess like once a year. So anyway, we looked at this forever. What we looked at was takes, here, castles, pawn sacrifice. Everybody in the world plays knight takes d4. Everybody. but she wanted to play this move. So we analyzed that move for hours. Then, in the tournament, she had it 3 times this position. Isn't that amazing? In one tournament, and she won all 3 games.
Okay.
Good job. So that's what I play when I'm white. Very suspicious opening, but people usually don't know it. They know knight takes knight. Okay. Now, my opponent didn't play this way. He played bishop d7 first, which I think is incorrect. Now, let's go back. Who wants to blunder their queen? I do. You don't want to blunder your queen? Okay. If you're a beginner, very often they blunder their queen by taking this pawn. This is a common beginner mistake. And then white wins. Hooray for white. I was white, so. And what's the winning move for white? You all know it. No?
Oh, yeah, the bishop to d5.
Check, and then you take the queen.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees. Yeah? You agree? Okay. So that's why black plays bishop to d7. That prevents bishop b5 check. Now, this is the main line of this opening. However, my opponent didn't take on d4. He played bishop d7 first. In a lot of grandmaster games, white just castles, and we get the same position I just showed you. And then I could play knight b d2. Okay. But when my opponent plays bishop d7 first, I don't think that's a good move. Because I take on c5. And they take back, and I castle. And now, I'm going to do this because I like doing that. It's good exercise. I attack all their pieces every move. I play b4 attacking their bishop, b5 attacking their knight, bishop e3 attacking their queen, and they retreat like Frenchmen. But they have a good excuse. It's the French defense. Okay, so now if you blunder, you guys like blundering?
No.
Okay, like, I'll develop a piece. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, yes, he did. And the bishop is trapped. When you play the French, you must retreat for obvious reasons. I mean, if you're an adult, it's obvious. If you're a kid, you don't get my joke. Okay, so black played f6, breaking a very important rule of mine. See, they don't watch my videos. Terrible. Should I just leave? That would show them.
Don't move the f-pawn.
Yeah, let me pick this microphone up and drop it and then leave. What's that?
Don't move the f-pawn.
Ooh, that's close to my rule. My rule is never play f6. It's a rule I have. Yeah, true story. You ever watched my videos? I say it every video. Okay, now f6 is okay, but here it's not very good. Okay, b4, as I explained earlier. And I took on f6. That's probably not the right move. Probably developing a piece is good. Okay, then I attacked his knight, and then I attacked his queen. And now he wants to play e5, and his center's too good, so I resigned.
Well, he actually beat you.
No. So how did I stop e5? Wow, look at that center. How do we prevent such a move? And the difference between a good player, not me, because I almost lost, and the random player, the good player stops their opponent's moves, and the random player goes, oh, that was good. I wish I would have stopped that. How do I stop e5? Anyone? Can't do it? Nothing? Bueller?
Bishop f4.
Bishop f4, he plays queen f4.
Oh.
And then I cry, like a grandmaster. Bishop d4. He castled. I got my last piece out. He got his bishop to a good square. Once again, renewing the threat of e5, which once again I stopped. Anyone? What's that? Rookie one. Okay, now he made the losing move. The computer says white's better here. Now he made a move and he's losing. Too aggressive. Are these pieces in good shape for black?
Nope.
As they say in German, ich don't think so. So he should improve his pieces. Instead, he went roar, because he knew he was playing, like me. And he played knight g4, roar. Okay, now, confusing my viewers and the audience, I actually played a good move here. It's never happened before. Now, this is a tactical trick which I teach in most of my videos. And one thing I tell my students every lesson, one day they'll listen, on the 4th and 5th ranks, that's the 4th and 5th ranks for both players. Occasionally, there are pieces there that aren't defended, like here. And then you try to take those pieces because they're up in your grill, so you might as well take them. I can't take these pieces, they're too far away. I take the pieces that are close. Well, how can I take this knight? Of all the green pieces I'm highlighting, which is the most likely to capture this knight? Is it the dark squared bishop? They can't legally do it? No. Is it this rook? No. We're getting closer to no pieces left.
White square bishop? No.
White square bishop, but they're on different diagonals. That'd be hard.
Yeah.
What's on the same diagonal as the knight, and it also moves diagonally? The queen. So if I could jump over my knight, that would be nice. That means every legal knight move attacks his knight by discovered attack. Okay. So I played the scary, tricky, complicated move. What did I do? It's scary, tricky, and complicated.
Knight g5?
That would be scary, tricky, and complicated. Probably not good, because I'm undefending all this stuff, right? That's probably dangerous. Probably. I want to play knight g5 check. Is that check?
No.
Let's make it check.
Oh, sacrifice the white square bishop.
That's what I did. Then if he takes it, I play knight g5 check, and so on. Now we'll go to the beginning.
That's kind of like a move of the
Yeah.
gift.
Okay, correct, sort of. Now, what's this opening called? Anybody at home? You don't know at home either? The Nimzo Indian. And I like to play this way. And in this position, white has a blunder that's the same blunder my opponent made. Except I don't make this blunder because I know about it. Bishop g5 is a blunder. Notice what I said, the 4th and 5th rank, and this piece isn't defended. Which black piece is most likely to take it?
The queen?
The queen. So I want to go here by cheating, but I'm a grandmaster, so it's not cheating. This guy learned, so he's yelling out the right move in his head. Yeah, you. You were like in your head, you're like, ah.
Bishop takes F2.
Yeah, I can see you like, ah, bishop takes F2. Right. Bishop F2 check, knight G4 check, and queen takes bishop. So I don't like that for white because it loses. So I don't do that. So I play knight F3, and then I play bishop G5. My bishop's protected. Okay. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Well, yeah, not that. Okay. So E4, and then we do this, and we do this, and we do this. Okay. And in this position, after knight G4, I play bishop H7. Now, unlike in checkers, is it true in checkers? I think so. Not sure. Depends on the rules. You're not required to take a piece if you don't want to. So he didn't. He played.
Is that a rule in checkers?
In some checkers it is, yeah. In some.
I learned something today.
No, there's like a lot of different checkers rules. You ever heard of pool checkers?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's where they move real far. There's a lot of checkers. Yeah, there's not just one. And they're different in every country. There's different kinds of checkers. Yeah. You have to know what the rules are. There's Chinese checkers also. I wasn't thinking of that, but it's true. There's Chinese checkers. Okay, so here he played what move? He didn't take my bishop, so he played
King to h8.
king to h8. Okay, now, according to the engine, I have a brilliant winning move here, but I'm too old to play it. And in fact, the engine says you're too old to play it. It knows who I am. So I could play knight e5, giving all of my pieces away, because I want to play queen h5, and then he's in trouble. And I also want to play knight takes knight and queen takes knight, right? The engine says white is completely winning. But I played h3, and it also says I'm completely winning here. Okay, until the next move when I'm completely losing. Now, let's go back. When you're completely winning in chess, that's different than completely winning at something else. For example, tomorrow, well, not tomorrow for you, but for them. Tomorrow, Atlanta is playing. Atlanta. Tomorrow, erase that. Tomorrow, Georgia is playing. Alabama. If the score is 47-0 for either team, and there's 1 minute left in the game, I know who's going to win. Okay. In most sports, when you're way ahead and there's no time left, you win. In chess, when you're way ahead and you make one bad move, you're losing. Chess is hard. Okay. So a lot of times in some sports, when your team's way, way, way ahead and you can't lose, you take out your best players, so they don't get injured, and you put in the random guys. This happens in basketball, football, happens all the time. Okay, now, here, my opponent played check, because he's a meanie. Now, let's see who the smartest is. You ready to see who the smartest is? How many possible moves does white have?
2.
Do you agree? 3? You don't even agree with yourself. All possible moves. Remember, you have to get out a check. It's a rule. Yeah. Anybody? So you said 2, then 3, and these guys have no comment.
Say 3.
Okay, 3, and you make a unanimous. Right. And I didn't consider knight takes, and he plays queen takes h2 check. I didn't like that. And I'm sure I'm losing there. I'm sure.
Definitely.
So I considered king h1 and king f1. But I did something stupid. Don't do what I did. I saw this position when I played bishop h7 check. And I said, well, he'll play king h8. I'll play h3. And if he plays bishop h2, I'll play king f1. And when he played bishop h2 and hit the clock, I played king f1 in like 2 seconds. The engine says king h1 is completely winning. And I forgot when I was analyzing 3 moves ago, my bishop is defending my f-pawn. If it wasn't, that'd be mate. And now white's winning, something like +3. And I instantly played king f1, and I thought I was winning here. And then 3 moves ago, when I analyzed this, I was worried about queen c4, and then I was like, oh, I have a knight on d2 that can take it. Then I wasn't worried anymore. When I played king f1 and hit the clock, after 2 seconds, I was like, oh, oops. And he played the winning move, which I didn't see when I played king f1. It's the most obvious move.
Bishop takes b5.
Yeah, I just forgot. My pawn was attacked because when I analyzed this 3 moves ago, my bishop was here. And then when I took that, I'm undefending my b-pawn. Now, I'm incredibly losing. I recommend having black here. Yeah, so king f1 is like the worst move I've made in a long time. Okay, and I was winning, and now I can't recover. I'm so lost. So I thought, should I play c4 or rook e2? And they're both terrible. They're just terrible. So every move the rest of the game, I'm like, this loses, this loses, this loses, which gives me the best chance to not lose. I'm trying to figure that out. Now, it might sound like I'm bragging, because I am. If you're totally dead lost, like the computer says your opponent's +5 or +10, it's probably better to be a human than a computer. Computer just plays the mathematical best move. It's like, well, here I'm -5, and there I'm -5.1, so I'll play the -5 move. That's closer to equal. A human tries to trick the opponent. I'd rather be -7, but he has no way to figure it out, rather than -5 and everything's -5. Computer will take -5. Let me give you an example. I have a position, every legal move for you is +5. Or I have a position, you have one move that's +8, everything else is equal. Well, that's easy. For a computer, it does the wrong one. It's like, oh, 5's better than 8. It assumes you make the best move. Well, if you make the best move, obviously I'm going to lose. You're +8. Doesn't matter what I do. So here, I played rook e2, which is the best move, better than c4. Now, the rook is pinned, so he should ignore that and start crushing me. The best move is e5. But he took my rook, which you could take it later. And then he played e5, which is the best move. So I called the director, and I said, that's not fair. He's playing the best move, and he's rated 1,000. And then it turned out there was an issue with that. You know what that issue was? I was the director. Terrible. Okay, now I thought for 5 minutes, even though it was a 30-minute game, because I was like, everything loses. Interesting. Okay, and the computer doesn't like my move, but it says everything I do loses. I took that, and that was based on me being insane. I thought after he takes check and takes my bishop, I can start attacking his king by moving my arms wildly. Right? You see how I'm attacking his king? Rawr. And then I realized if I go here, when I say I realized, I'm still wrong. He would go here and then go here. His queen is defending because his g-pawn's out of the way. And I couldn't see what to do here. Like, how do I continue? It turns out he wouldn't even play g6 here. g6 actually isn't even the right move. And the right move is queen f4, which threatens my knight, threatens this pawn, and he can block checks with that move. So if I try to mate him, he just goes here. Okay. And the reason I didn't play queen h5 is I was afraid of g6, so I stopped g6. I made g6 illegal. How did I do that?
You pinned it.
That's one way to do it, but that hangs my queen. I play queen e5, he takes it. There's one other way to do it. How do I make g6 illegal?
You put your bishop there?
That's what I did. And now I'm threatening queen h5 and I win. Hooray for me. I'm rooting for me because I was playing. Now he played by far the best move. Very mean of him. And he's lower rated than you guys, so you should be able to find it. What's the best move for black?
Okay, that's the black.
Remember, I want to play queen h5 check and checkmate you.
So.
Wish I was playing you guys. I might have won this game. Well, I did win the game, but you don't want to know how. You see how later. Anybody?
King d8.
Well, then queen. I could play queen e6 check, but probably queen h5 is good. It's the same move I just showed you. It's what he would have done against queen h5 earlier. What was the move I showed you black would play last time? Queen f4. Yeah. And now if I play queen h5, he plays queen h6. Now, you may have noticed, or maybe you didn't, I'm down a rook. If you're taking notes, being down a rook is bad. So I'm down a rook. I have no attack. My rook on a1 is stupid. And he's threatening this. So I took it. If he takes back, then I made him, because he doesn't have queen h6 anymore. Unfortunately, he played the best move, rook f6. And I didn't know what to do here. If I save my bishop, then he attacks my f-pawn, and I didn't know what to do. So I checked. He played the obvious move. Yep. Traded queens, and I saved my bishop. Now I'm down a rook, but I'll probably win this. Probably. So I'll be down a rook for a bishop, which is still losing. The other problem is, if I take this, he takes my f-pawn with his rook. That's not good. So he played knight c4, and I was like, oh, what do I do? I defended my knight. Then he played rook f4, because he wants to go here. That would be annoying, right? Okay, so I took his knight, and I went d5, and I queened my pawn, and he resigned. No, that's not what happened. And he played c3, and I was like, wow, his pawn is better than mine, and he's up a rook. If this rook was gone, then white's position is okay. Not sure if I'm better. No, I'm winning because his knight on h2 is trapped. I played rook c1, and he defended his passed pawn. And I finally took his knight. Now, I was pretty sure he would play what move? What would you play with black? That's the move I thought he would play. That's what I thought he would play. And the rook takes f2 is a good move. He played rook d4, which is probably better. Probably. Because he wants to take this pawn. And he's also going to push this pawn and start pushing all these pawns. So I played bishop d1, so my bishop could go to b3. That way I defend this pawn and stop this pawn. I thought I stopped the pawn, but I didn't stop it. He saved his rook, and I played here. If I turn on the engine, who's winning, white or black? Black's incredibly winning. Right. And I knew I was losing. Also, I had no time on my clock. I had like 30 seconds, and he had like 6 minutes. So I'm down in exchange, I'm losing, and I have no time. Now I'm in my element. I was losing before you were born. Yeah, I know how to be losing. You guys are mad when you're losing. When I'm losing, I'm like, yeah, I've been losing for 40 years. Now I'm losing again. When I say 40 years, I mean 44 years. Yeah. Okay, so he played c2, and I played f5. Now he made a very strange move. Now, when your opponent makes a really bad move and you're still dead lost, that's unfortunate. Usually when they make a bad move, I'm okay. So obviously this guy's a monster, right? And so what he should do, and what everybody should do, unless they're playing me. Now he's in my class, maybe he remembered that. He was like, I should do this because Ben taught me that, but he said unless I'm playing him. That joke worked out, right? What should you do in the end game that you would never do in the opening?
Get your king out.
What?
Get your king out.
Yeah, what you said, then you said it, and you were like nodding. Right. So if he goes here and here, I got nothing. I just lose. But he never moved his king. Never. Rawr. Never moved my king. So he played a very strange move. Any grandmaster would go here, and then I would cry. He played rook d1, giving up his passed pawn. Very suspicious. Unfortunately, he's still winning. And what should he do? Move his king up. But he started pushing his pawns, and I pushed my pawns. What should he do? Move his king up. And in this position, if he plays king here, he's winning. And he played here, and he's not winning anymore. Amazing. This is the first position in like 30 moves he's not winning. And actually, every move draws. King takes h6 draws, and king g6 draws according to the computer. I played king g6 because I was more interested in doing this. So I want my king to protect my pawn. What I want to do is play here, and then here. And once my pawn's on f7, what's the winning move for white? After my pawn gets to f7. Then he would take it with his rook. Bishop f5. So I want to play f6, f7, bishop f5, and I'm winning. So I have a plan. He played b3 because he has a plan too. And I took, and his plan was a3, promote.
Why didn't you take your pawn then?
Then I would take with my bishop.
Oh.
That he wouldn't promote. That's called a breakthrough. He had 2 pawns to 1, so he got through. I played the only move. You have to look up there. Looking at me is not going to help. What's the only move for white? b4. Now if he plays a2, I can take it. Now in this position, if you turn on the engine, it says draw, 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 draw. I'm like, quiet, I'm thinking. But it says draw. And the most obvious move is to move the rook somewhere that defends the pawn so you can push the pawn. And it says after here, it's still a draw. I'm going to eventually sacrifice for the pawn. I'll take this pawn, and my 3 pawns draw against the rook. Okay. Here, he made a very suspicious move, which still draws, but has the wrong idea. He played rook e1. Why did he play rook e1 in his own mind? What was he thinking?
So he could attack the bishop?
He wants to take the bishop, and then he wants to queen his pawn. He can't queen his pawn now because I take it. So when he played rook e1, and I had like 9 seconds on my clock, I was like, oh, he wants to take my bishop and then promote his pawn. I should move my bishop. But I was like, well, if I move my bishop somewhere, he just attacks it with his rook. He could keep doing that. And then I was like, oh, he can't take my bishop. So I was like really happy now. I was like, he played rook e1 to take my bishop, but he can't take my bishop. So I was like, I hope he does. So I played b5 because I got a lot of passed pawns. So I got to keep pushing them. And it's still equal if he plays the same idea with a2 and plays rook e2 and then a2. And computer still says it's a draw. And finally, on move 48, even though he's rated only 1,000, he made the losing move. So his last 30 moves have been great. The only thing he did wrong was he didn't move his king up here. He left it on h8. And he was in time trouble. Now, what losing move did he make, as we discussed earlier? He took the bishop. So I took his rook, and he went here all ready to queen. Chess is hard. Either you're winning or you're losing. What's that?
So you could start.
So what did I do?
E7?
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, now he realized what happened. But it's too late. After rook takes e6, he's losing. If he doesn't play rook takes e6, he's winning. Oh, no, it's a draw. But that was his plan. Now, let me explain psychology to you, and then you can forget it. Ready? When you're playing somebody, and you're like, ha-ha, they blundered, and you start salivating at the mouth, and you start doing this. Maybe they blundered. Maybe they didn't. So instead, you should be like me and go, that's why I have a beard. Why did he blunder? He doesn't want to blunder. Why would he do that? Oh, he saw this trick I didn't see, and then I don't quickly make my dumb move. Now, I don't want to brag, or do I? My rating's pretty high. So when I played b5, he should be suspicious. He should say, I played rook e1 to take my opponent's bishop. He could have moved it to 1,000,000 squares, and he let me take it. Why would he let me take it if I can queen? So he should have been suspicious that I let him take it. Now, if he was playing a beginner, he'd be like, yeah, he doesn't see rook takes bishop in a2, a1. But I see that. So I have a lot of examples of this, of my opponents who are very low rated, playing a move that tricks me. Like I can be, well, I guess I can be tricked. I was tricked earlier. And then they're like, oh, Ben did that. Rawr. I'll show you a couple examples when we're done. And now he just sat there like, uh-oh. And he queened. And now, if I was silly, and I am, I would have made a rook. But I made a queen because there's extra queens at the board, so it's easier. Yeah. And a very easy victory for me.
Because
It wasn't easy. Well, it's mate now. So let me explain ratings to you because you don't understand. None of you understand. And you at home either. Rawr. I'm mad at them because they didn't say anything. Your rating tells you how you did. How did you do? I won, then I lost, then I won. That's your rating. Your rating isn't, well, I had a winning position, and the rating doesn't care about that. They want to know if you won or lost or drew. They don't care how it happened. Don't care. So if I play you 10 games, and I hang all my pieces every game, and you're up 10 pieces every game, and I have one pawn left, and your flag falls, I win. If I win all 10 games like that, my rating is really high. Conversely, if I take all of your pieces and promote all of my pawns and mate you with 9 queens, I also win. The rating doesn't care about that. They don't care if I took all your pieces and mated you, or you took all my pieces and your flag fell. They don't care. So even though I won, you could say, excuse me, ooh, and I'll say, bathroom's over there. Ooh, and I'll say, you, and you'll say, you play terrible. Why is your rating so high? The answer is, it doesn't matter how I play. It matters if I write a 1 next to my name when the game's over, right? So you might be mad. I was beating that guy, and I'm better than him, and I was beating him. And, well, you were winning. That means your rating's not high. When you did win, then your rating's high. And often, I'm losing. And when I'm losing, I play pretty well. Because I'm like, well, I'm losing again. I've been losing for 40 years. And then when I'm winning, I don't blunder and lose. Now, of course, I do, but it's very rare. Not like every game like you guys. I mean, you guys are great. That's what I meant. Okay, so I'm going to show you something funny from previous, because it's related to this, or I deleted everything. Okay, so new board. I can't push new board, so I have to go here and push new board. What? I still can't push new board. Okay, and I can't get a new board here. Okay, I resign. New game. Okay, so I gave a lecture before you were born, possibly before a couple of them were born. And when I'm white and a Sicilian, I like to play c3 here. And most of my opponents play this, and I go here. Now, I'm higher rated than all of you added up, because you're unrated, right, USCF? So I'm right. Okay, so if I'm higher rated than all of you, and you think I blundered a pawn on move 4, you're wrong. You see how I gave my pawn away? Now, I gave a lecture, and I explained, if you're playing somebody who's rated 1,000 points higher than you, and you think they blundered on move 2 or move 3, probably you're wrong. So you should be like, why did he just blunder? And then the reason knight takes e4 is bad is because of Queen A4 check, which wins the knight. You guys all agree? Mm-hmm. Good. So I was given a lecture, and somebody in their audience raised their hand. And they said, wow, nobody's ever going to play knight takes e4. That's never going to happen. Rawr. I don't know why they went rawr. 4 days later, I'm playing in a tournament. My opponent's rated 1450, and he plays knight takes e4. Only took 4 days after my lecture. And when I played here, he was like, ah. Okay. Now, again, he's rated 1400. He knows who I am, and he still plays knight takes e4. That's an insult. I blundered a pawn on move 4? What? Now, it wasn't like he was very tricky about it. He played here attacking my pawn. It wasn't like I didn't see it coming. And then when I played here, he should have thought forever and said, why did this grandmaster give his pawn away? And he would have figured it out. You guys figured it out. He would have figured it out. But he moved in like 4 seconds. So when you do that, when you're playing a chess game, and you're like, oh, my opponent blundered, you move in 1 second, that's not a good idea. You should be like, my opponent blundered? What? And now, if I have the Ray Robson game, which I show in a lot of lectures, but you guys don't watch my lectures. And you don't either. You're the worst at home. Let me see. I just want to show you because I talked about it earlier today. I talked about it outside with somebody. They were like, "You're terrible, but Ray Robson's great." And I started crying. No games found? What did I do wrong? Tell me what I did wrong. 2011, right? Oh, I know what I did wrong. I actually know what I did wrong. I think I didn't delete everything. That's correct. Reset. Now it'll find it. See? I'm not as dumb as I thought I was. Pretty dumb, though. Okay. So this is my game with Ray Robson. And I'm black. Now I'll set the stage. Can somebody help me? Okay. The stage is, it's a match. Like they're playing a match in that room. It's a 6-game match, just like their match. The difference is we're grandmasters and they're Rufus and Doofus over there, right? You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So this was a 6-game match. After 5 games, Ray Robson won 1 game and we had 4 draws. So if I win this game, the match is tied. Okay. And we got this position. We're both mating each other. We're the best. And now black is winning, but it's really hard to find the winning move. It's so hard, I never looked at it in my life. The main reason I didn't find the winning move, other than it's too hard, is I thought my move won. So I was like, well, my move wins, so I played my move. Now, I was very suspicious. I was like, why is this guy letting me checkmate him? So I should have thought forever and figured it out. But instead I'm like, yay, I'm tying up the match. I'm the greatest. And I played rook e2. And black has unstoppable mates. The only thing that can stop me is if he mates me, which is unfortunate. I've shown this to many classes, and nobody ever solves it. So I feel better. It's not like all the kids are screaming out the right answer. It's actually hard. How does white win? By the way, in this position, the engine announces checkmate for both sides. It says if white mates black, white wins. If white doesn't mate black, black has mate. So you have to mate me or I'll mate you. And we're a happy family. Queen h7 is correct. I played the best move, grandmaster. And then he made the move I missed, and I cried like a grandmaster. It's the only move I didn't see. I saw every other move, not this one. It's too obvious. Man, black has a good attack. If it was my move, I would have tied the match.
No. Like queen h8?
Queen h8, I take it. Yes.
Well, when the rook comes down.
Then I play king e7. E is an excellent, not G is in good. Because king g7 gets mated. King e7 wins. Hooray for me.
Oh.
See, if all my students were like, you idiot, you didn't see this winning move, my students can't find the winning move either, so I feel better. Problem is, Ray Robson's really good at tactics, so he's good at finding tricky moves.
Bishop c5?
Bishop c5, I take it. Yes.
Oh.
See, you guys can't find it either. Now you feel as bad as I do. If I was playing you, I would have won. Queen g7 check. Oops. If I take it, he takes check and plays rook h8 mate. You agree? Yeah. And if I move my king to the e file, he still mates me. Like king e8, rawr, is 5 pieces mating my king. So in this position, you turn the engine on, if I knew how. That's how. It says white wins, mate in 21, and black mates in 7 if white doesn't mate black. I didn't see queen g7. Then when he played it, I resigned because I get checkmated. So in this position, let's go back. Remember I said black's winning, but I can't find it? I can make a move, and this bishop is useless. It's the move you would never think of. You see how his bishop keeps killing me? You see what I'm saying? Like in the game? How do I block his bishop? But block that bishop. Rook e5. Yeah, now his bishop doesn't hurt me. Now if he takes, and I take, I'm not a big fan of his king. Although I'm a big fan of his king, but he's not. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's really good for black. Black's threatening e4, double discovered, triple checkmate, and queen b2 mate. So he can't take my rook, But he has no threats anymore. He can't come get me. He's got nothing. He checks me, I go here. Yeah. So I should have played rook e5 with a winning position. But instead, I thought rook e2 was winning. I didn't see queen g7, so I got crushed in the match. Now, the reason I was talking about this earlier, for some reason, we were talking about Korchnoi. Has anybody heard of Well, you kids have. What about you? You have? Good job. Victor Korchnoi was one of the top 10 players in the world in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
And never won.
Right. He was also probably top 2 in the world. Anyway, in 2011, they set up a match with me and Korchnoi because he was old, so maybe I could win. Maybe. He was like 75, 80 years old. And they're like, all right, you play Finegold a match. He was like, okay. So I was like, yay, I get to play the most famous person ever in a match. And about a month later, he's like, I'm sick, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't travel, my doctor won't let me. So I played Ray Robson, who was 16. So my opponent got 60 years younger. And then Ray Robson crushed me. And I never met Korchnoi after that. And 3 years ago, approximately, Korchnoi died. So now I can't play him a match. If I play him now, I'm the favorite because he's not alive, but it's close. Close. Yeah, Korchnoi played 3 matches for the World Championship. Against whom? You. Oh, come on, man. You kids probably heard of him. That's how famous he is.
Did he play Kasparov?
Close. The one before Kasparov.
Karpov?
Karpov. And their first match wasn't a World Championship, but it was because then the winner played Fischer, and Fischer didn't play. Then they played 2 for reals. And Karpov won one of them 6-5 with 1,000 draws. Then he crushed him 6-2 the next one because Korchnoi was old school. That's what school he went to, old school. Yeah. So what did you learn today? No matter what your rating is, you can lose or beat anybody. I already knew that. And I tell my students, you have to focus as hard as you can on everyone, then I don't do it, so I almost lose to 1,000. Next time I play 1,000, I'll try harder, maybe, right? I missed a move. If my students missed it, I would never stop yelling at them because the move I missed was a check and a capture. Bishop takes b5 check, remember that? Anybody remember? I played king f1. If your opponent can check you or capture, you should see that. That was both, and I still didn't see it. I was very busy directing the tournament and taking a nap. You see how busy I was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't focus, anybody can beat you because you make one blunder and you lose. And I should have lost that game, but I got very lucky at the end because my opponent got into time trouble. Right? If I had lost that game, you'd all be higher rated than me. Well, at least you'd be better than me. Yeah. Yeah. So remember, if a 1,000 player can beat me, you could all beat Magnus Carlsen. And if you do, what do you do afterwards? If you beat Magnus Carlsen, well, they never heard of Magnus Carlsen.
I have.
I know, and you have too. Yeah, I was kidding. What do you do after you beat Magnus Carlsen? Do you know at home what they should do? One of them said it. I heard a guy at home say it.
Quit playing chess?
No, wake up and apologize. Yeah. No, nothing? No?
I don't want to.
You don't want to wake up and apologize?
No.
You should. Yeah. All right. That was our lecture for today. And now what time is it? Nap time.